This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We are about to begin our meeting. Do we have any volunteers on the prayer?
Go ahead.
We'll do two prayers then.
All right.
Yeah.
Dear Lord, we thank you this day and thank you for the time and the freedom for us to come together here and discuss the business of this county. Please be with the leaders and guide us over the discussion and the decisions we have to make to better our friends, family, and community. We ask all this in your most precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Let's all stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Okay. We have before you a proposed agenda. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to request some items be added to the agenda. I think you should, do you have an executive session, report of the sales ratio study, Big Jig Parade, and then I got to add an item about the tax digest, an update on the tax digest.
Okay. David?
No, sir, I don't think so. I'm good.
Okay. Tim?
No, sir.
I would like to, with the pleasure of the board, ask the inspector to come in and just update us a little bit on some of the rules and regulations down there at the campground, just about the trail, just to talk about some of the things that are, some of the rules and regulations down there. If they're gonna be all right with the board. Okay. Eugene?
I'm good.
Okay. Tony?
I'm good, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the agenda with the additions.
I second.
Okay, it has been motion and a second. All in favor by the show of hands. Okay, I'm assuming, yeah, okay, that's it, all right. I didn't see, okay, I didn't see another hand going up. Okay, okay, that's what that motion there carried. Our old minutes were emailed, and I finally got my letter before the meeting. I got it yesterday, still of the day. And when I get back home,
Mailed
on
it
the video,
Friday.
yeah. So what's the pleasure of the board on the old minute?
I make a motion that we accept the old minute.
Second motion.
There's been motion and second. Do we have any discussion on the old minute before we put it in the law? If not, all in favor by the show of hands. That motion carried. Okay, Mr. Steve, it's on you.
Well, Don, you want to go ahead and do your little deal? Don's here to talk about possibly ordering, go ahead and ordering a new ambulance.
In front of y'all is the little form. So we applied for a grant through Sanford Bishop. We have made it to that final cut. The unfortunate aspect of it is that's a 2025 fiscal budget money. And as they are now just kind of kicking that down the road. So I'm not sure exactly when that money will come in. That grant was for an ambulance, which was the ambulance that's proposed here, along with a new stretcher and a new cardiac monitor. The basic question is I don't know when that grant's going to be funded, if that grant is even going to be funded, irregardless. But we still have to continue to refurbish our older equipment as it progresses out. The initial money that was proposed for the truck when we got the proposal was $250,240. That's usually a 30-day proposal. We've asked them to extend it out to if we can bid on it now, because we actually proposed this back. It's been a while. If we were to make a new proposal, I can see that cost going up. If we wait another, year or two to replace this, when we finally get that money, I can see that proposal going up. The truck that we are planning on replacing is a 2016. It is one of the vans. We're going back to the box trucks now that we have some SPLOST money coming in. Currently, that truck has 173,703 miles on it. We're putting about 1,000 miles a month on that truck. So at the time it would be replaced, we'd have over 200,000 miles on that truck. The estimated delivery time, even if you put the bid in today, is 18 to 24 months. So we do have the money in the SPLOST in case that grant does not get approved. I do not feel like we had the money in the SPLOST to do the stretcher and the cardiac monitor all together. But as the money has progressed in, by the time we start paying on this one, we should have the last one paid for. We do have another one that's in proposal that's actually in line being made. It will be delivered in May of 2025. That truck was bidded out in January of 2022, and it will replace the Ford 2012 truck, which has got right now 233,000 miles on it. The question is does the board wish to go ahead and approve us accepting this bid of $250,240? And
Do we need a motion, Mr. Chairman?
Mm-hmm.
I so move that we accept that.
okay.
Okay, it has been motion and second. Do we have any discussion on it before we vote?
No, that, do that question after.
Okay. All right. All in favor by the show of hands? Okay, that motion carried.
Last time you were talking about the lead times on these were so out because of the chassis, the new chassis. But then I've talked to somebody at the dealership. Are used chassis available to go under the new boxes, or they'll only put the boxes on
New chassis.
Okay.
New chassis, yeah. We've looked at that. I've actually looked at just putting a new chassis on a new box or reboxing our trucks. You know, if I could get, and the problem is you're not saving that much money and you're still using used equipment. So I priced out actually a couple of military base trucks that are just 5 and 6 years old. But because the used equipment is so expensive, you're only looking at, $20,000 or $30,000 difference between a brand new truck versus one that's already 7 or 8 years old. Even though it's been on a military base and not much miles on it, it's still got that age on it.
With no warranty.
With no warranty. Yeah. So, and I'd love to go back to the vans because they're so much cheaper. But the problem with those vans is they're not designed for county running and operations. They're not designed to run 90 miles an hour, 85 miles an hour from here to Perry or here to Macon. They're designed for inner city transports or non-emergency. And, they work great because we had to have that cost cutting when we got them. But they've run their course for us.
Box.
In the past, the county has reused a box.
Yes.
All right, so this 2012, the oldest vehicle we got right now,
Yes.
it's a box, right?
Right. Yes.
Has that one been reused?
Yes.
Okay. And you,
Well, no, it is not. But now that box has got some structural aspects. So the way they make those boxes, they set that box on that frame and they weld that frame to that box. We've already had to go in on that box, Justin has, and put in new bushings across it because the bottom of that box over the years in our road condition wears out and it breaks those frames on those boxes. That would not be a box I'd recommend.
and it seemed like you could only reuse a box
One time.
put it on.
One time.
You couldn't
Yep.
just keep on
You
going.
could not.
on.
It's Georgia law says one time, or
Okay.
standards is one time.
On the Ford, like a 22 Ford F-350, is that
Yes.
chassis the same as a Ford F-350 that rides the?
Yes, same chassis, same chassis. Same chassis.
Are there any other questions? All right.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank
Will
you.
you send him this, or I need to send him?
I'll get with you. Okay. Let's go back to some of the agenda items. Okay, done the minutes, don't have a financial report. Number 3, there's a vacancy still on the DFAX board. Are there any nominations? Hearing none, we'll move along. DOT, the 25 LMIG program is, application period is open, and I've asked Rodney, our Public Works Director, Rodney Hare, and our engineer to come up with a list of proposed roads that they would suggest for resurfacing, and we'll look at that. We had that application must be submitted to DOT by February the 1st. Item number 5, so after the fact now, we had the ACC and GMA hosted an online webinar on the House Bill 581, which is on the ballot for the November 5th election, that if approved, if the voters approve that, then certain changes will go into play for the, as far as property taxes and local sales tax. But if the voters doesn't approve it on November the 5th, then there would be no changes. So we'll just wait and see what happens, and then we'll dive into details of that. It's going to be what it's going to be. Item number 7, just a reminder, the ACC has their scheduled their 2024 fall district meetings. We're in District 8, and our meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, October the 30th. And currently Linda Huall is registered.
David, and Casey.
All right. If anybody else would like to get registered, let Linda know. Still working on the draft of the contract with Waste Management. Hopefully have something at the next meeting on that.
Services don't got, I hadn't had that many complaints this week.
I'm not receiving many complaints, so. Don took care of number 8. Number 9, the Georgia Department of Transportation has identified 2 bridges as potential candidates for replacement of their low impact bridge program. We discussed a little bit of this last meeting. The 2 bridges, one of them's on Heath Road at South Prong Creek, and one's on Mount Vernon Road at Camp Creek. And I think it's a little bit better map showing you. This is the Heath Road bridge on Heath Road, just south of Highway 230 off of on the Unadilla. That's the approximate location. DOT is proposing the detour routes to come around like that. So DOT wants to know first, does the county have any major concerns with that bridge being closed for up to 12 months? I mean, the bridge got to be replaced, and DOT is not going to put a detour bridge around, a temporary detour bridge around it. So if we want the bridge replaced, we got to agree to have the road closed. So, and there's no better detour than that right there. That's the only logical detour that I see. So
That doesn't affect anybody, does it?
Nobody live from there. Nobody.
And everybody else goes out the other way?
Mm-hmm.
So, but DOT always, they want input from the local government to see. There might be a major reason why, or there could be, sometimes there might be a certain period of time, so you don't want it done during this period of time or something, but I can't think of any reason on that. So, and then the other bridge is on Mount Vernon Road, which This is out Highway 27 going to the river, go up 230 to Mount Vernon Road right there. So that's the bridge they're proposing closing. And then the detour route is that right there, which is the only logical detour route there is.
I mean, that's one of the oldest bridges in the county right there.
So
Still got
does the county have any,
rails.
does the county have any issues, major issues if that bridge is closed for 12 months?
Thank goodness there's not a lot of people in that end of Mount Vernon.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what DOT wanted to know. Is everybody here for the teacher's proclamation?
Betty is. I don't know if she's waiting for anybody else. Miss Bryant, she's here.
Okay. You want to ask her if she's ready?
Well, Mr.
Miss
Steve,
Bryant, are you ready?
while we're talking about bridges, now, since we made the changes over there off of West Road, it won't have to be any detours on there, you know.
That road won't have to be closed, even one have to be, they may have to close one lane of it while they're working, but I don't think you expect to have close the road, do you?
No, we don't have to cut the road, we just replace it.
But you may have to close one lane for something while you're working on it, or maybe temporarily close it to cross some equipment over and back, but
Okay.
we ain't talking about no permanent, no long term.
Yes.
We can close it.
Okay. Pretty much.
Wait, where you?
Miss Bryant.
I gotta go have with the fire when it comes to
You
band.
and whoever you have with
All the way to Byron.
you and whomever you have with you.
Got it. Yeah.
Who Dr. King?
Dr. King. Was whomever she brought with her.
Oh,
Good morning.
All right.
Morning.
Good morning.
Go to church. Okay, they're here for the teacher proclamation this morning.
They requested a proclamation honoring the retired educators, and the proclamation hereby, if adopted by the board, proclaims November the 3rd as Retired Educators Day in Dooley County, to observe that day in an appropriate manner, honoring retired educators. So they're requesting that the board adopt a proclamation about that.
I move we adopt the proclamation.
I second.
There has been motion and second. Are there any discussion on it? Tony, don't you sign it, then, Monica. We're gonna put you back in the classroom.
That'll never happen.
Been there.
Been there.
Okay. All in favor by the show of hands?
I want to get this. I want to get
Yeah,
this.
we finished. Yeah, we gonna.
I want to get this.
I gotta go to church. I gotta be at 10 o'clock.
Been out there with you 50 years and I ain't seen you in no dress.
Oh.
Jesus I Christ. gotta go to church.
I'm good. Ready? One more. You got all right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, thank y'all so much.
Congratulations.
All right, see you later.
Daddy, good to see
I
you.
get it, I get it to you, okay.
Backbone of this country, the teachers. How they put music to it.
He'll get a
We can
copy.
get it, I'll get it to you, I'll call you. Okay, yeah, once we get it signed, I'll get it to you. Okay.
Don't be speeding.
Thank you.
The first day, I ain't talking about the second day, the first day I be locked up. You can't talk to that boy like that.
Somebody need.
Yeah,
Get him by the arm, lead him nowhere.
oh, man, you touch him, show nothing through.
They say they need some strong men back in the system.
Oh, well, they gonna get him.
And now that it's frozen, to introduce relations.
Miss Rosa, you ready? Miss Rosa, here, she wanted just to introduce her new employee she has at her office. Come on up and introduce you.
Good morning.
Good
morning.
Creation Club will be replacing Dana Gambrea. She is retiring. actually retired July the 1st, but she trained in Asia.
Mhm.
Asia is a native of Dooley County. She studied at South Georgia Technical School, and she was majoring in computer information. So she'll be a good resource to the county. Dana started training her on September the 30th. And Dana's personally, she is still with us, training her until November 1st.
All right.
I know that young lady.
Yeah, I know her real well.
Yeah. Always greets me with a smile.
That's right.
Glad to have you.
Yeah, right. And I know you're gonna do a good job over there. And you've been doing it since you were a little baby. Yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Okay, it's back on the agenda. Oh, let me go here. The drainage project on River Road, I'm meeting with the contractor this afternoon, hopefully get paperwork signed and we'll get that, should be getting that process started on that project. So I'll keep y'all informed on that. Item number 11, just a reminder, the Dooley County High School Homecoming Parade is this afternoon at 4 o'clock. Lineup for the parade will begin at 2:30 at the Board of Education office. Parade's at 4 o'clock. Y'all walking, riding, or what?
I guess business as usual.
you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right.
What about the candy? We gonna get more than 2 pieces this time to throw out there?
I don't think they want you throwing out candy.
Oh, they don't?
That was
No,
You check
due
on
to
that?
safety issues, they
I ain't check on it.
concerned about
I thought some of you.
children running out in front of the floats to get the candy. That's been the rule for the last several years, but
Yeah,
y'all,
Doing that
We
for
always
20
break it.
years.
yeah, well, yeah, you're not
We
setting good
always break it.
examples.
Yeah, no. We
I
make sure we
know.
go like, I go close to it.
Right.
We was in a big float now, yeah, but
We always
we like,
throw it down there, I mean, on the road anyway. But I mean, I know, like you said, running out, but, yeah. Kids will be a little disappointed.
All right, number 12, the Georgia Department of Community Affairs is accepting applications for FY 2025 under the Community Home Investment Program, the CHIP grant program. The deadline for applications is January 31st. This is the program where River Valley prepared a housing rehab grant for us last year and submitted it, and it was denied. Do y'all want River Valley to resubmit?
Definitely.
oh, yes.
Yeah. Did he say the reason why?
The last time I heard, they had not gotten the feedback. They were requested the feedback, and I never heard back.
Uh-huh.
So,
And that was and what, it was 11 or 12 houses that was, this time was scattered off.
this was then we had to pick a community, and it was down between Franklin Road and 27, down toward Drake.
Right.
Was the community that we selected. So I will let them know we would like to resubmit and see what kind of input they got back from DCA to what could have been improved in the grant application. So I'll touch base with River Valley on that. Item number 13, just a reminder, the 2024 Big Pig Jig is scheduled for November the 1st and the 2nd. You'll take one of those and pass around. The Chamber of Commerce has provided y'all 2 complimentary passes since we helped sponsor the chamber. I don't know, 14. In your agenda package, there was a list of the building permits issued in September. All right, then we'll get to some of the items that was expecting Bert to be here to have an executive session. Let's skip that for right now. Come back to it. Derek, item number 17, the Georgia Department of Audits has completed the 2023 sales ratio study, which is based on property transfers during 2023 and supplemented by appraisals and compared to the 2023 county tax digest values. And if Derek was doing his job perfectly, it should be 40%, correct?
That depends on a perfect ratio would be 40.
Correct, but very few folks have a perfect ratio.
Yes.
The acceptable ratio without any sort of penalty is
36 to 44.
36 to 44.
And then at 38, you meet your threshold for getting all your utility money.
So we strive to stay between 38 and 40.
Yes.
And what did the result of the sales ratio study show?
38.09, which I think is about as perfect as you can get, because we're still keeping our values a little below sale prices, but we're high enough to get all of our funding and not getting hot water with the state.
Well, how has it been in years past before you got there?
The first year when I got here, we were at 33, I believe, from the previous digest, and we've been above 38 cents.
And you say all that when we hit that threshold right there, that it, and what kind of money we get now?
We get all of our road funding, we get all of our utility money.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, if we got below 36, last year we presented all the different fundings that we could lose, but it's road funding, utility money. There's several other fundings. You can be penalized a penalty per parcel if you don't have it above 36. There's a lot of things they can penalize you with.
Any questions?
The second, one of those packets is our sales ratio study. The other is the statewide. It shows the ratios for all the counties.
You didn't get one.
Oh, I don't think you can. You can have this copy.
I got one.
All right.
What you need?
I just need the statewide. I didn't
Oh.
get the statewide in my email from you. Thank you.
If you want me to, I can send you the digital version.
Yeah, if you do that. Yeah.
What you want to do?
Next.
Y'all telling me you left people.
All right, thank you, Derek.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Boy, the lady.
Yep, through email.
Morning.
Morning.
Okay,
I'm running up the back.
hey. I can go get Glenn.
Okay.
I'm sorry. She's gonna go get Glenn.
Oh,
And that's the update on
on the campground down. The RV thing.
Then just enough for information, the big the homecoming parade is this afternoon. They haven't had a big pig Jeep parade in several years. They got one scheduled this time. It's Saturday, October the 18th at 9 a.m.
18th
This
tomorrow.
Saturday. This Saturday, right?
I'm sorry, that is not correct.
One.
Thank you, it's 26, thank you. It's the 26th.
After they can do it together.
Yeah.
Don't make that mistake. I did that one time on the find a downtown thing or better downtown. I suggested everyone looked and said it was just silence. And then I was basically not asked to come back.
We do that. I don't like it.
They're saying no candy on that one also.
It's fucking great. They read my lips.
Right, right.
And in there, and then they say the parade will begin at 9 a.m. sharp.
Well, the golf course, you don't have to throw it in the crowd. You can just.
Yeah, that's what we,
We almost.
Okay.
See somebody like to let go.
Short story, young stick to
See
it.
somebody you don't like, don't go.
Is there a legitimate reason not to give out candy at a parade?
Safety.
Safety so the children don't run out in front of the floats.
And how did we all get here?
Somewhere.
It does be going that fast.
Okay, I'm not on my system.
It's just a tap.
Waiting to happen.
All right, Glenn, come on up. I think Mr. Chairman had some questions.
Yes, sir.
All right. Look, I would like for you to, we received a call about the campground. Some of the rules and regulations that we have down there on the campground itself, about the sheds and.
About a shed on a campground?
Yeah, on some top of the building and, some of the things that we have talked about, some of the rules and regulations. So I would just.
I'm not sure which campground are you speaking of? There's several.
Okay, well, tell me about both of them.
The only recent one that I know of that was seeking a permit was to put a carport in a campground. And that was down off of Campus Haven Road. And they got permission through the zoning board to put the carport in the campground. And the discretion was because it's R2, but there's a campground in R2, so it's a conflict with the zoning. And we were just trying to find a common ground because of that.
Now, what about the living? I mean, how long can it stay there permanently and come back or whatever? I know we had some discussion on that too.
The carports can stay as long as the owner of the property allows them there.
Now, what about the actual trail itself that they live in the RV?
An RV. That is in discussion. There's not a clear description how long something can stay in a location. In the flood zone, that would go to the flood director as far as there's a certain period of time that they have. Once it's declared a flood, they have to get them out of it. The biggest issue of getting vehicles out of the flood zone is most of them are not properly licensed. And it does say in the flood ordinance that if there's a vehicle there that's parked, it's supposed to be roadworthy, so it can be moved within 30 minutes notice.
Okay, but okay, like the time span. Okay, if they have to leave and come back. I know we talked about, it can't be a permanent fixtures and all that.
It's not supposed to be a permanent dwelling place. And the enforcement of that is difficult. In our zoning, we have 180 days. It's not supposed to be 180 consecutive days. The easy way around that is you stay 5 days, you leave for a weekend, starts over. So there's no clock ticking. So there's no way to enforce 180 consecutive days.
Okay.
So we need clarity on what type of regulation we're going to have. And we started working on that this previous meeting with the zoning commission about how to address it with a couple of things we're trying to get clarity on. They're trying to work it out, get definitions so that we can present to the commission in the near future. We're hoping to have something by the first of this coming year with that.
Okay, so we're not talking about clearing out anybody. Eugene, anything you want to send that down in your negative woods too?
Well, we just, we've had so much stuff grandfathered in down there. And I can speak from previous floods. It's not like it used to be. We had situations where people would bring those campers in there and literally take the wheels off of them. So, I mean, how do you evacuate, when you're given an order and they had stuff built onto and they added on shelters and stuff like that. I don't think we have a whole lot of that now.
Not as much. There is some
There's still some.
down there that does need to be addressed. Excuse me. And I have to work in coordination with the flood director because that's actually his department. I have to wait for him to get authority for me to act in any type because I don't want to go. I want to step over somebody's borders.
Currently, Kenny Calhoun is our flood ordinance administrator, but he's retiring come December 31st. So we need to choose who's going to assume the duties of flood ordinance administrator.
You don't have to be, no, I'm just asking, you don't have to be the director of the end?
No.
Who else could it be?
It would sort of make sense for the zoning administrator to be the flood zone ordinance administrator. Or you want to pick somebody else to do it.
You're talking about a campground down there. I mean, I remember like he's saying, places we used to go and down there, they were permanently boxed in by permanent decks and all, but talking about the campground, but down the other side, there's private owned lots that are the same way. People are living in campers full time, so.
And that is becoming a problem. We've been acting upon complaint before we act. If there's a camper to come, we just had some folks come this last Monday night. We had a camper showed up, and folks were staying in it. And he said, "Well, we bought the property. It's for a weekend retreat. We don't want to build a house there." I go, "Well, it's an R2 district. You have to." He came to the meeting with a document and he mapped out everybody that's got RVs that they're staying in. And he said, "They're doing it. Why can't I?" And I couldn't answer his question because we were. That's one of the things we need to get clarity. So we told him we'd get back with him.
He said the word, at what point of grandfather, I mean, some of this stuff has been down there since in the late 90s.
True. The ones I'm speaking about are there's several that are fairly new that have come into places. And there's one that has 3 that have put them in and people are staying in them full time. They're rentals in a residential area, which that's not illegal, but when it's an RV in a residential area, it's being rented out. That's when it becomes an issue.
So what's the campground supposed to be in?
The campground is supposed to be in a C2 commercial district. And we had recommended to both the big campgrounds are down there to rezone their property commercial. That would just be logically, but they're afraid if they do that, they'll have to follow some rules that they don't want to follow. They like not having any restriction because they're already out of whack with the zoning. They don't want zoning to put them in any type of borders.
Are there any other questions? That's all I want.
That it?
Mhm.
All right, sir. Thank you.
I think the only thing left is need to request a executive session to talk about pending litigation and a personnel matter.
I so move, Mr. Chairman, we go into executive session.
That's it.
Okay, it has been motioned and second. All in favor by the show of hand. That motion carries.
I'll let you know if any action is taken, if you don't hang around.
This conference will now be recorded.
You can.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes of executive session as read in executive session.
Second.
It has been motioned and second. All in favor by the show of hand. That motion carried.
Is that it?
No,
I thought we had-
Oh, we got to vote on,
yeah, we
the three
got
people.
some more things going on here. So there's a recommendation that offer of employment be issued to James Collins for a service support equipment operator / mechanic, John Hamilton for equipment operator motor grader, and Carl Thompson truck driver / equipment operator.
You do them all at the same time.
That's up to y'all.
I'll offer the motion.
I second.
Okay, they have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion on the three individuals? If not,
No, and I just wanted to say too that, that this is contingent upon the background check. I mean, the drug screen. That's the only thing that we like.
You've done your background.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else before we vote on it that need to be asked about it? If not, all in favor by the show of hands, that motion carries.
Okay, and I think the only other thing I had on the agenda, the tax digest. Received some bad news Monday. The state reviewed our tax digest package and they had denied it.
Wow.
Basically, the notice that the Board of Education and the Board that we and the school published in the newspaper, the notice of proposed tax increase was not 30 square inches in size.
Oh, man.
No damn.
It was 29.8.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
I gotta go to bed.
So what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Well, I have appealed and I, on the basis of looking at it common sense wise, I acknowledge that neither one of our ads were 30 square inches in size. But neither board raised the millage rate.
30 square inches.
30 square inches,
How big is that?
5 by 6,
30.
5 inches by 6 inches.
Oh, I thought you were 30 by 30. I was like,
No,
that's
5 inches by 6 inches.
I was like, that paper ain't that big.
Page, wasn't it?
You can like open the whole thing, a centerfold.
But I asked them for consideration because neither board raised the millage rate the same as it was last year. And even per the state's form to calculate it, our increase was only 0.56%. We conducted the 3 public hearings. Nobody attended our public hearings. Only one individual attended any of the school board's hearings. But
So when will you know?
well, if we don't, well, they have the standard. I got to the standard denial yesterday. We have someone trying to do some work behind the scenes, but if we don't hear anything by tomorrow, we need to go ahead and start the process over again, rather than wait.
What's the schedule look like for the hearing?
The schedule would be, if we know by tomorrow, the school board would get their notices published, send it to the newspaper, both notices, and hold their 3 public hearings.
That's next week.
It would be published next week.
In the paper.
Then they could hold public hearings on the following Thursday, October 31st, do 2 of them, and do their 3rd public hearing the following Thursday, November the 7th. We will publish our newspaper ads, send it to the newspaper, get it published next Thursday. We could have our 2 public hearings on October 31st also, but we would need to wait till that Friday to do the follow-up, to adopt the levy.
So we still have time to cure it.
Yeah, we have time to cure it, but it's just going
Be extra work.
to be extra work, and it's going to delay the due date of the taxes. But,
That's a good thing. No,
well, that's a good thing for the citizens, but
not for us.
not for us. But I'm counting on most folks are gonna wanna pay their taxes before the end of the year to get the tax write-off.
Is that 60 days? That's a lawful
Yeah.
number.
The bills, as I understand it, cannot be due before 60 days of the postmark of the bills,
And should that be November the 8th, Friday?
whatever. Yes, I'm sorry, yes.
So we will change our meetings?
So that would require us to change, I'm assuming, rather than have a regular meeting on the Thursday the 7th and then come back, we'll just change our, if we have to do this. We're hoping to get some good news before tomorrow afternoon.
We couldn't do it on the 7th. It's not far enough.
Not with the Board of Education.
Well, yeah, don't need to.
If they gonna have their third meeting at 6, now if they'll do their third meeting earlier, like at 9 a.m.
Then we could,
in theory, we could still have our regular meeting, so.
Why don't we ask them to
Maybe at
consider,
11.
why don't we ask them to consider moving their meeting up?
I talked to him that Saturday, whatever, they were very open to making.
I've been
this
talking to
happen.
the finance director with them, letting them know all this has happened. And he's been keeping the superintendent informed, and Chris just told me the superintendent says we'll do whatever we need to do. So, but hopefully we ain't gonna come to that. But I just, rather than keep waiting to hear, because if we wait past tomorrow, we lose the chance of getting anything in the newspaper next week, and we bump everything back another week.
They know it's gotta be 30.
We will specify from this date forward the size it needs to be.
At what point on legal organs is it gonna go digital?
It already is, because they all have to participate on a digital forum, but they have such a strong lobby because it keeps they won't do that. And so they've already got a platform that goes on the Georgia Clerks Cooperative Authority where they're all can be apparently found, because I've asked those questions myself. And, it's a matter of time, but right now, they don't want to get rid of them.
So you're saying now
No, it has to go through your legal organ.
right, but anything that is posted in the legal ads in the News Observer is available online?
We need to link that.
I did not know that.
Yeah. The reason because I've challenged that, and that's what I was told, and they've struck a deal with the Clerks Authority. They've struck a deal because the Clerks Authority tried to get that. It was a big legislative thing. And so they said, well, we'll put it out here, and they link it in somehow. I've never been to look at it, but that's what I'm told.
And like I said, the individual with the Department of Revenue that reviewed she was just doing her job.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunately.
So she's got a ruler basically, and she uses a ruler on the newspaper.
Yeah.
All of us sent to her.
But it's all
Right.
That's
It's not like
all.
just pull an audit and here's Dooley County, let's look at them this time.
Where is?
Cause see, the guy I talked to, he said, wonder how she got that, because he was not understanding that she sends all this stuff to them in the package.
And just so you'll put things in perspective, that's the size of the notice that doesn't meet 30 square inches.
What size is that?
I don't know, but it's in no way so small. Yeah, anyway.
So it's like the other one is the right size, perhaps, and,
Yes.
and that one's just not.
Well, this one is required to be a larger size. This notice doesn't have to be this size. It's just got to be bigger than what it is.
No, Jesus.
You know what I said?
What?
Of course, I hadn't been able to have a conversation with this person that's looking at our stuff. You don't do that. It's just like, I think Steve and Paula was told, you can appeal, but appeals don't ever get anywhere. So what do you do then? You run in and sweep. go around that person. And, that's all, that's all you can do. 28 sweet.
28 sweet.
And,
I will let y'all know if, because if worst case scenario, we'll have to have
Halloween?
we'll be having 2 public hearings on Halloween.
But the main, the guy I was talking to, I said, you know, what'd be great if they had a fine system. Fine Dooley County.
Yeah.
Fine us $2,500. Fine us $5,000.
Fine, it's the cost of running the ad again.
But don't push our tax revenues
Correct.
down the road 30 days.
We need the money, yeah.
I could understand it if we were talking about a
Agreed, but
20%
he don't
increase
work in
in
that
taxes or
department.
something like
Taxes
that.
is increasing, yeah.
Yes, I gotta get to it.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, please.
Go somewhere, you say.
Hold on, let me- I just- quick, something gets said.